So one of the worst things in life, like there's a lot of them, right? We'll go down a checklist. There's obviously the hurricane that's going down right now in Florida. There's the multiple issues going around the world, and there's the AFL compensation for free agents who decide to go to other teams. There is nothing that grinds my gears more than watching the Richmond Football Club get given pick 42 for Jack Graham and the St Kilda Football Club getting given pick 8 for Josh Battle. Now look, as an AFL fan, I think we can all agree this thing is so confusing how it all works. Technically, from what we've heard, if you want to know what AFL compensation is that if a free agent goes to another team, the AFL will actually grant the other team a draft pick in compensation, depending not only on what the money is, but of course what the ladder position is. So if the player is paid, let's just say 900 to $1 million a year, right? That would entitle the AFL team to band 1 compensation, where of course the AFL team would get a pick in the top in the first round that would apparently be where they finished on the ladder. So because the Saints had the 7th overall pick where they finished on the ladder, they were given pick number 8 for Josh Battle as compensation. This has been a massive complicated thing for a ton of years that has not only stressed AFL fans to the max, where nearly every AFL fan's head has exploded, but it has also caused massive rivalry of basically people threatening to destroy each other's family trees over Twitter if they disagree with the AFL compensation that the team has basically been given. Again, one of the biggest cases of this actually happens to be Buddy Franklin, who is arguably a top 10 greatest player of all time, probably the greatest forward that a lot of us who are here today have ever seen. He's the biggest situation because when he actually left Hawthorn and went to the Sydney Swans, Hawthorn were guaranteed a band 1 compensation, but if I remember right, they were actually given like pick 19 because they finished first, and that would mean that pick 19 would be given after their first round pick, which was 18. Now, you might be sitting at home and you're thinking, oh, okay, that's fair enough. The Hawthorn Football Club finished first that year. They deserve, to maybe get some compensation back, but not much because they're the best team in the league. And look, they're losing a player. They're still the best team in the league. So pick 19 is kind of fair, right? When you say it out loud like that, yeah, maybe it does sound kind of fair. But then when you think about it, the St Kilda Football Club just got given pick number 8 for, don't get me wrong, I think one of the more underrated defenders in the league who I really, really rate and I think is a good player. When you think about it, the St Kilda Football Club got given pick number 8 for a decent defender, while the Hawthorn Football Club got given an end of first round pick for arguably the best forward of all time. How does that make any sense when you think about it like that? Again, the issue with AFL compensation as well is that everyone and their dad has a different opinion on it. For the most part, I haven't really cared that much about it. I've always thought it wasn't the worst thing in the world. There's definitely ways they could be handling it, but it's clear now in 2024 when you are watching the St Kilda Football Club get given a top 10 pick, for a guy they had for 8 years in one of the best drafts of all time, pushing a lot of teams back a further pick spot. You're looking at the GWS Giants giving multiple first round picks for players who have left, and then a team in the Richmond Football Club who are last and one of the worst teams get given pick 42 for a guy who finished second in their best and fairest only a couple of years ago in a premiership contending team. None of it really makes any sense at all. Again, I know I might be going into some controversy here, but I definitely feel like the AFL compensation, it probably needs to change and needs to be addressed, because a lot of people are just going back and forth, and the reality is to this day, the AFL have never gone truly public with like a major, document on like an Instagram page or something like that actually fully tells you how the compensation works. And the truth is because half the time the AFL are just deciding on the run. Like, we got to think about it this year, right? Jack Graham, a guy who finished second in Richmond's best and fairest only a couple years ago, was given pick 42 back in compensation, while a guy like Isaac Cumming, who has been considered a fringe player for the Giants for a little bit now, just got the GWS Football Club a first round pick. Is Isaac Cumming a better player than Jack Graham right now? Probably. But if Jack Graham is healthy and off the injuries, who's a better player and who's proven more? Well, definitely Jack Graham. So because of all of this, you have seen this happen. You've got people like Damien Barrett and a bunch of other reporters just arguing on places like SCN, because at the end of the day, no one truly agrees with it. You've got people like me who are a bit on the fence that are like, yeah, I don't mind teams getting compensation. And then you've got reporters like Damien Barrett who are just flat out saying that compensation in the AFL should not exist because it's completely unfair. You've got teams like Richmond getting pretty hard done by for Jack Graham and given such a low pick. And then you've got teams like St Kilda who are given a top 10 pick in one of the best all-time drafts for a guy that's been with them 8 years and they just couldn't re-sign. There are a bunch of other reporters who want it completely deleted from existence, like Lil Pump's music career. Then you've got other reporters who are just asking the AFL for a simple explanation, which they have rarely ever done. Like, when was the last time you ever saw the AFL post something on social media explaining how the compensation works? Never? Yeah, that's because it's never been fucking done before. Does the AFL compensation need to change? Most likely. Do the AFL just need to come out and explain and reveal contracts and how they are? 100%, because from what the leaks have also said is that Jack Graham was paid only $50,000 less a season than what Isaac Cumming was to go to Adelaide. And if we look at it like this, that means only $50,000 determines a band 1 compensation to what Jack Graham was, which is a band 4 compensation. How does that really make any sense? And it doesn't. Again, the reason the AFL gave Richmond such a low pick is not because of their own rules. It's because they don't want Richmond most likely to have a dominated, stacked draft class. And the reality is that Jack Graham is probably just not worth a good enough pick. And that's kind of true. But in saying that, is Isaac Cumming worth a first round pick? Probably not. Is Josh Battle worth a top 10 pick? Probably not. Is Buddy Franklin worth more than pick 19? Obviously. So, yeah, a lot of this is really confusing. There definitely needs to be a change. And I think that change is just not only explaining to everyone how the compensation works and going rule by rule on what they follow that gives a team a compensation pick, but I also think it would just make it more simple if the AFL did what every single other sporting league did in the world and reveal players' contracts. It would make for less, again, I think, criticism and divide if we knew why Jack Graham was pick 42 and why Isaac Cumming was it was a first round pick. Again, we're never going to see that though because the AFL don't even reveal players' weight. So if you're hoping for contracts to be revealed anytime soon, it's not going to happen. But again, I would really like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. What is your take on the AFL compensation and how it is all working out? Do you guys think they desperately need to do some change, or what do you guys think the go should be for the AFL going forward? I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out my gaming channel and my IRL/vlogging channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.